The way I talk about listening partnerships is to first look at the ways that we tend to listen to people. In normal, everyday social conversations, we tend to listen to people one of two ways: things we have in common and how can I help. And you might notice this week, like when you have a conversation with a friend, you might be listening for how can I help, or you meet somebody new and then you're listening for things I have in common. Well, listening partnerships is a third kind of listening. It's a very different kind of listening. It's not a conversation. The listener is holding space for the person who is working on feelings. So you could think like you're working in the space. So when you are working on feelings, you could be talking to your younger self. You could be talking to your partner or your children or your parents or your siblings or your third grade teacher. So you're not actually talking to your listening partner. Your listening partner is holding the space. And what you can do as a listener is the way you can hold the space is to hold these thoughts. You're good. Everybody you're talking about is good. You are going to figure this out. And what that does when you hold that thought is that it keeps you from your mind going to that place of, how can I help? What do we have in common? Oh, yeah, my kids are just like that. Oh, yeah, I know a chiropractor, or I know a really good auto mechanic, or even just, your mind just going to your to-do list. You're saying very little. Maybe you're saying a little tiny bit of verbal empathy, just so they know that you are present, just so they can sense your presence. But you're exactly right in that you are a mirror for all the things that are good and competent and smart about them, because you're holding this thought. You can figure this out. You know best. You are good. Everybody you're talking about is good. And so they might be working on really hard stuff. They might be working on early hurts. And then they look up and they see the truth of who they are in your eyes, in the warm look on your face, in your smile. They see that they're good. They see that they're loved. And that helps counter those early hurts without you even saying anything. So this is really about trusting in the power of your listening. I consider venting to be pretty surface, and it's usually like what's going on in the current moment. They did this and they did that. Da, 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 da. In order to create healing and heal whatever got triggered by the current circumstances, we recommend that you work early. And so what that means is, in the middle of your venting about the current situation, that you ask yourself, what does this remind me of? What's the early piece? When did I feel this way when I was small? Who made me feel like this when I was small? And when you allow your mind to go back to the past, and you may not have very specific memories, you may just have sort of sensations or sort of shapes or kind of abstract feelings. But when you allow yourself to go back to the past and allow yourself to laugh, cry, tremble, sweat, yawn, then here's what happened to you when you were small. Here's the feelings that were glommed onto that experience. When we get upset in the present moment, it's because what happened to us is being triggered. These feelings from the past are being triggered. The way Dan Siegel in his book Parenting from the Inside Out describes it is that when we're triggered, our body responds, our nervous system responds neurologically as if we were back in that moment. when we were 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years old. So you're with your listening partners holding space. You're working in the space. It's not a conversation. Your conversation is actually with your inner self. And you're asking yourself, what does this remind me of? What's the early piece? And then you let yourself go back and blast that third grade teacher or blast the adults that didn't see you and didn't cherish you. And you allow yourself to stand up for yourself and grieve that you didn't get what you want. And when you're grieving, when you're allowing the tears or the trembling, the sweating, the yawning, the laughter, that is releasing these feelings that are glommed onto the event. The events still happened. But because you're releasing the feelings, then this is no longer a trigger. This is just what happened, a fact. But it's no longer an emotional trigger. So I hope that's helpful. And if you are new to listening partnerships, what I would recommend is that you join the Parent Club community, because we have a weekly live Zoom support call where you get one-way listening time with an instructor. So you get the experience. First of all, you see the instructor modeling this way of listening, and you also get the experience of working in that space without getting any advice, without being interrupted, without any reflecting back. So you get that experience of that one-way listening time where you get to just work and you see the listening modeled. We have this a live Zoom support call every week in the Parent Club community where you can get one-way listening time and you can get live coaching. So I hope you will consider checking out the Parent Club community. It's free for 2 weeks. And we also help you find listening partners in the Parent Club community. And we have a spontaneous listening time space where you can post you can say, is anybody available in the next 20 minutes or the next hour to trade 5 minutes each way. So all kinds of support for you in the Parent Club community. And so thank you so much for tuning in today. We are here for you, especially when parenting gets tough, and we're committed to making it a little easier and even more fun. So we'll see you in the Parent Club. Bye-bye.